Welcome to Life, Lafter Divorce, Episode 1. I am Leanne Linsky, and I'm here with the boyfriend. We are super excited to be launching our podcast today of all days, Valentine's Day. Thanks to all of you out there joining us for this very special occasion. So here I am, me, Leanne, and the boyfriend.
That's me, here.
Yes, here you are. And here we are on our very first podcast. And today we're going to do a little talk before we introduce our guest.
We're going to start talking about the big stuff.
That's right.
Right off the bat.
Real big stuff. We're going to talk about communication.
Really?
Yes.
I thought it was something completely different.
I'm sure you did. We're going to actually communicate about communicating. Yeah. Do you think about that for a moment?
That's why I'm being quiet.
But I thought it would be appropriate because communication is kind of key in any relationship, right?
We communicate pretty well.
Yes, we do. We do. We've practiced this. We're actually good at talking about how we need to communicate with one another, which is really kind of nerdy.
We communicate about how we need to communicate.
We do. I think we've actually told each other, like, I need this. I need sometimes to just say this and just you listen, right? We've had these weird conversations. Yeah. We're pretty direct. We've learned to be very direct with each other.
We're also old, so that sort of comes with the territory.
Right. When you're not out past 10 o'clock, this is what you do.
But also life experiences have led us to be in a different spot.
Yes.
Because when I was younger, you were sort of, I don't know, scared, not really confident in your own self to tell the other person what you want or what you don't want or anything. So it's hard.
Yeah.
Communication is not easy. So as we get older, at least for me, myself, as I've gotten older, I've gotten better at it because I'm more confident in who I am and what I want out of life.
Right. No, that's very true. You're absolutely right. I think when we're younger, it's scary to tell someone what you want because, oh my God, what if they don't want the same thing and then this is over? Well, hallelujah. Why not find out, right? Now it's like I become the shoebox greeting lady and it's just like things just fly out of my mouth before I think about them, which isn't always good either, But it does get better as you learn from experience and as you age, right?
Yeah,
same.
I think so.
One and the same. But it's kind of weird because in past experiences, I've found that when relationships are ending, things change considerably in communication, right? Like communication stops or the tone and the way we communicate changes drastically.
Definitely the tone.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely, for sure. And the other thing I notice is when we first start dating somebody, I found like it's exciting and there's lots of phone calls or text or emails or whatever it is at the time. And then the longer you're together, the less those things happen.
Really?
Yeah.
But why do you think that?
I think people get settled or comfortable, and things become routine and the excitement is gone. You kind of know where that person is now and you know where the day takes them and you're not checking it and you're going to see them again.
Less work. So you just basically less work into the relationship.
Yeah.
And you know what? Communication does take work.
It does.
It's a two-way street. You gotta be able to say something, but you also got to be able to listen to something.
Yeah. And I think instead of letting the communication go, because I think part of communicating when we're first dating somebody, like, okay, when you and I first started dating, it was kind of like, oh, it might get text right back. And you kind of get excited that you get that text back. And then as time goes on, the less you're like, oh, I want to check in and say hi or say I'm thinking of you or something like that, right? And I think that's when the excitement in some relationships, maybe not all, but when it goes away, it's nice to go back to that.
Yeah, but that's not a bad thing. I think there's good with comfort.
Right.
As long as you increase or have more openness with your communication. It doesn't necessarily have to happen in
like
specific
that. Maybe
times,
it evolves.
Okay.
Communication evolves.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was reading somewhere, like, they said one of the they were talking about, like, I don't know, 6 ways to better your communication relationship. Something I found on Google. And it was one of the things that stuck out to me when I was reading this is that they said insignificant experiences or day-to-day routine things actually matter more than the deeper conversations. Like, when you're sitting and making a grocery list together, or when you do laundry together, and those kind of conversations you have actually bond you closer together than having those deep.
But think about it.
Things.
So what do most people do? Most people have jobs. Most people work. And what do they do when they come home from work?
They do their laundry. They take care of their personal.
No. They want to share their day.
Oh.
So it's yeah, I don't want to come home and do laundry right away. Typically, you want to have an experience where you share the day with that other person.
Yes.
And you know what? That's some of it's. I don't necessarily want to hear everything that happens in your day, and I'm sure you don't want to hear everything that happens in my day. But the fact that we listen to each other and we're able to share those experiences, they do make us closer.
They do. They actually do. I thought you were going somewhere different. That's why I was like, oh, you go home and you do.
No.
Yes, you're absolutely right, and it is nice to have someone who listens to what your day and can look and nod and say, I understand, I get it, But what I'm finding out is as we have those conversations and we're better at having those conversations, we also are now more open to talk about the deeper stuff. It makes the deeper stuff easier to talk about because we have already a line of communication open. There's a trust there.
Yeah, and I listen to you and you listen to me, and we will act on those things when something I'm doing upsets you or something you do upsets me or something that we need to do together. We now have that line of communication because of all these other maybe non-significant things, but it allows us to have these bigger conversations, which allows us to have a better relationship and continue moving and growing together.
Exactly. And just a note in there to add to that is that when we have those bigger conversations, it's not a, hey, can we have this conversation? I need to talk to you.
It's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a scary thing.
No, it's just an open conversation, and we know to pay attention and actually listen carefully to each other when we talk about these things.
Which is really important. And I think that takes a lot of practice.
It's not easy.
No.
And I couldn't have done this with my earlier relationships.
Oh, God.
And I'm better now, and I'm thinking you could probably say the same thing.
No, because I would have probably let you say something or not say something that was on my mind to you and let it fester and build and then eventually become some sort of resentment and then blow up at you for like leaving your shoes somewhere, and then it's really not about that.
There's a joke there too, but we're not going to get into that right now.
About leaving your shoes somewhere.
So anyways,
and that's the other thing. Sorry, what we just did had like an inside moment that happens because of insignificant moments, like the small things. That is a result of little things that happen just by doing.
So if you're out there listening to us for the first time,
sorry.
Yeah, but take this. We're being serious. This is actually very helpful for our relationship. It's very healthy, and we're able to enjoy our time together without having these spats or fights or disagreements. We have disagreements, but it's not a big thing.
Right.
It's not because we have open lines of communication.
Yeah, and we have our bad previous experiences to thank for that, because if I hadn't had those relationships like my marriages or whatever where I didn't do those things poorly, I wouldn't have learned from them the way that I did.
Okay, so
ooh, yes, our guest.
Yeah, what do we got this week?
Okay, this week we have a very funny man. He's very, very nice and so cool to share his story with us. His name is Jim Barnes. He's a stand-up comedian here in California. He actually hosts the show Jim Barnes and Friends and the Sunday open mic at Flappers Comedy Club in Claremont, California. So if you're in the neighborhood, by all means go and see him, check him out. He's really cool. He also has all of his contact information, which I'll put in the show notes so you can track him down. And without further ado, Jim Barnes. So, Jim, welcome to Life, Lafter Divorce.
Thank you.
Thanks for driving all the way out here on this beautiful sunny day so you could be in a basement.
It's very nice.
Recording. Yeah. So welcome. And so you drove all the way in from Wrightwood, which is
Wrightwood, California. Yeah, it's a little mountain community, really small, like under 5,000 people. Other side of Mount Baldy. If you look at it from LA, you see Mount Baldy, it's the other side of that. There's like two mountain ranges if you drive from here to Vegas. The 15 splits it. On the right would be Big Bear and Arrowhead. On the left is Highway 2. If you go from if you take Highway 2 from anywhere in LA, 60 miles drops you off. The last town is Wrightwood.
You know it's in the middle of nowhere when you have to give that much explanation.
And no one knows. People live 30 miles away, don't know about it.
Exactly.
It's a little ski resort there, Mountain High. That's
right.
What people know it from.
So I'm guessing the comedy scene is huge in
I'm
Wrightwood.
It's really nice.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And thanks for bringing gifts. Just so you guys know, Jim came in bearing gifts, which is incredible. And I feel horrible because I forgot to bring you a bottle of water. How bad is that? But he brought these great T-shirts, so I'm going to have to take a picture. So thank you very much.
Welcome.
And so we're here and talking about you because you've been divorced once.
I have.
Right? And how long ago was this?
Still am. The whole thing split 3.5 years ago. So then, paperwork and all that, even though it happened pretty quick. So 2-something years for the final, but
2 years.
Yeah, 3, I guess, almost 3 for the final. It's somewhere around there. But it started 3.5 years ago is when it hit the fan,
right,
so to speak.
That's a long process.
Yeah.
It's a long process. It's so much easier. Isn't it just so much easier to date and break up?
Ours was overnight. We were married 21 years.
21?
Yeah.
And, okay, so 21 years, you're at a pretty good place, I would think, where you know each other really well.
Awesome. I mean, in my mind, it was great until the day it wasn't. But that was my mind. So that's probably the issue, right?
Yeah, you had no idea.
No idea.
And so I'm guessing this was her idea.
Yeah. So you want the story?
Sure, give it, fill us in.
It's a good story. So let's see, married 21 years, and got it split the shit hit the fan in April. So back up a couple months, January, February, and just a little weird. My wife's acting a little moody, a little weird. She's about to turn 50. I turned 50 a couple years earlier. So, we're 21 years, and pretty complacent.
Yeah.
But it's a great marriage. All the friends, all the toys, traveling, great kids, great house, everything. So the funny part of this is she's really pouty, really moody, really having a hard time, but I know it's because she's turning 50, and I'm pretending not to know that because I have this big surprise planned. We're going to go, I have rooms in San Francisco, our friends are flying in, big thing.
Right.
We've done for a couple others before that. So I'm assuming a few things going on. She doesn't know. She thinks I forgot she's turning 50. She thinks I forgot our anniversary's coming up.
Oh, my.
Her grandfather just died, which was kind of her father figure in
a
lot of ways.
Yeah.
Premenopausal.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. So all this stuff going on, that's what it is, obviously.
Right.
And she's, I think came to me a couple times. She's freaking out, and I'm in denial on purpose, though. The best way to lose a marriage is neglect your wife. I did it on purpose. This was my plan.
Because
this is how
you
good
thought
of a husband I am.
You thought you were doing her a good favor, like a good thing.
So anyway, a couple days before the trip of the surprise, I even had to say, hey, okay, listen, I don't want to give away everything, but I didn't forget. It's all cool. Just please don't make me tell you all the surprises. We're going to have a big deal for the anniversary, and for our anniversary and our birthdays are all in the same week.
Okay.
Anyway, fast forward, the anniversary weekend comes and goes, still a little weird.
And you had a big party for the anniversary?
Yeah, with San Francisco and did the whole thing, and little weird there, just a little weird.
Right.
When you're with someone 21 years and it's a little weird, it's a little weird. And so we get back.
And weird how?
When a friend showed up, she was surprised. It was obviously a phony, yay, happy surprise.
So she knew, but she wasn't.
No, she knew.
Okay.
No, she knew she's having an affair. It was the end of the story.
Oh.
She has a boyfriend during this.
Gosh.
I forgot that part.
Oh, that's a big part.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what's going on. But I think it's menopause. I forgot the birthday. No, she has a boyfriend.
Oh,
which I didn't know about.
Oh, boy.
So anyway, we get back from San Francisco, still weird. My birthday's a week later, still weird. So all this stuff's passed, And we have our tax appointment April 3rd. That's why I remember the date, right? We have a tax appointment April 3rd. And when I get up in the morning, she's already out of the house. Well, we're meeting there at noon. But I'm laying in bed. I've been thinking for about 2 months, what's going on?
Right.
And I told myself, if they say if you don't know what it is, it's an affair.
Right.
And I'm thinking,
yes,
all maybe. I don't think so. No way in the world. She's the most trustworthy person you ever met.
Right.
Never going to happen. But I got up and Googled it. Right.
Oh no.
So I go.
Google.
I Google cheating wife or whatever.
Yeah.
And I come up with this page called 10 Signs Your Wife's Having an Affair.
Yes, I think I've looked at it
And
before.
I print it off, and I checked every box, right? And they're little innocuous things like spending more time with friends, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Spending more time at the gym, yes.
Yes.
Lying about her whereabouts. I go, no, she'd never done that. I go, wait a minute, hold on.
Oh, no.
Back about December, she's out with her mom for dinner at 6 o'clock. 11:30, I call her, where are you? Oh, having drinks in the bar with an old friend. And it just, it was just, the radar was up. It was just weird. And we're very open, very trusting, no jealousy hardly at all, but it didn't sound right.
Right. Does it sound weird when someone says with an old friend and they don't say a name or who?
Well, I think she did say his name.
Okay.
But, which by the way, I never knew they were high school boyfriend, girlfriend either. I thought they were just friends.
Wow.
So I'm easy. I'm naive.
Well,
Anyway, so
you've been in a
it felt weird
relationship.
enough where I go, the restaurant, they close at 11. It's 11:30. Waiting, get home. Comes home, and it's just weird. And I start grilling her a little bit. And of course, she doesn't know how to lie. Oh, that's the worst. That's the biggest lie. She knows nothing but how to lie. But in
confrontation.
in just a way of life, not just everything's just different. Her version of life is a little different than
Got it.
reality.
Okay.
So, but she erased the texts back in, by this night I'm going, okay. So anyway, I knew something was up, but I was really just worried about she's going through all this stuff. Her grandfather died, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. Okay, cool. Just chill. Everything's gonna be all right. Make an appointment with your counselor. I'll go with you. We'll just talk. You've been wacky lately. No, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
That would have been bad.
I didn't say that. But you know what I mean.
Never tell
let's
a
just
woman
get
she's
handle.
wacky.
So anyway, won't tell you that whole story right now, little segue. But so filling out this checklist, yeah, I got to say she lied about her whereabouts. Anyway, so we go to our tax appointment at noon. Everything goes great. We go to the parking lot, separate cars. I said, hey, I want to talk to you for a minute. I hopped in her car, and she said, what do you want? I said, you're having an affair. She goes, why would you say that? I said, because I Googled 10 signs your wife's having an affair.
You told her that?
Yeah, and she laughs. And I said, no. And first of all, I didn't believe it for a minute. I'm going to act like I believe this because Google says she's having affairs. I'm going to act like I know. So I said, no, I'm serious. You're having an affair. And her face went blank and was like, hour and a half later, I had enough facts out of her to, started with, I'm interested in someone. Then it went into only this. No, you've been seeing somebody for a while. You're sleeping with them constantly. I went that route. And by an hour and a half later, it was like, yeah, that's what's happening. So,
how did you feel once you knew?
Oh, wow. I did not get mad. I mean, I can't say that. The next 3 weeks were a blur of hurt, and arguing. But it was such a like you had to put a stop to. It's like world's falling apart. Let's just fix it. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I guess what I was trying to get to when you asked that, you feel different than you think you would.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
You feel different than you think you would. I didn't get judgmental hardly. It's like, wow, okay. A lot of people I know have cheated. I never did. I might have next month. I mean, people do that.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Not cool, but that happens. Obviously, if that was happening, I have fault in that. Somehow. We'll figure it out. I'll take fault if you want. Let's just slow it down, figure it out. And so I never got mad at her. It was just too serious for that. It was like getting mad for someone getting in a car crash or something. It's like, no, let's just
Yeah.
fix the...
Well, first, do you feel it's more like you're in shock?
It's a crisis.
Yeah, you're in shock, and everything just kind of goes into slow motion.
Yeah.
And you're soaking all this stuff in.
So, I mean, I still lived there a couple weeks on and off. I'd sleep in my office. I'd sleep in the motorhome. I'd sleep at home. Another good part of the story. This is really funny stuff if it wasn't me. That's why I say this whole story. So as we're pretending to try to fix it.
It's always better when it's somebody else.
Yeah. So, I mean, fast forward a month, in my mind, not one conversation was anything but lies. Just she's trying to minimize the damage, and I'd have to play detective up every night, waking her up. Wait a minute, when you did this, that's not what happened, was it? No, okay. Is that everything? Please tell me that's everything. That's everything. Next day, something else. What about this? Yeah, that was it too. So, pretending we're trying to fix it, we go to a group counseling session. Then we're going to go to individual, and first thing I tell you is if you guys both don't want to fix this, you're not ready for this. So all the talks we had, and we're talking, and we have really tight knit group of friends. Where was I going with that? What did I say before that?
So because you guys are trying to fix everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And the biggest, I still haven't got mad at her for the affair, because what's supposed to happen is, please take me back, grovel, and then me dump her, say, no way. That's what's supposed to happen.
And was she doing that?
Never wanted to fix it. Pretending wanted to fix it, going to counseling and this and that. And then I had to confront her because every day was more lies and this and that. And no, she didn't want to fix it. Why? I don't have any money. Kids will hate me. I said, don't worry about it. I can't help you with the kids.
And
you're on there, but you got plenty of money. And
when you realized that she wasn't willing to fix it and she was letting you do all the work to get out and make her life easier, essentially, right? How did you feel then?
Yeah, I don't know. It was a blur. I tried to once I told her I'll do anything. In fact, here's a good story. We're up in my music studio because it was quiet up there and stuff because kids are downstairs. I started and I said, listen, it's because it's been crazy the last few days. Oh, I remember the story too. I finally said, I want you to just look at me, just acknowledge, just settle down for a minute. I want you to just acknowledge I'm saying I will do anything. I'll do anything in the world to fix this. Do you know I'm saying that? Yes. Okay. Then went on to what do you want to do and want to be with him and blah, blah. Next day, I never said that. So it's just, she's in her head, I think, she's smart, but not that good at thinking on her feet to live two lives at once. And she couldn't pull it off. And she was still, for months, doesn't know what she was saying, what she was doing. She was out of control. But the funny story, as we're trying to fix this, one night I'm sleeping at home. In the morning, I'm gonna go get us coffee and muffins, local bakery. So I hop in her car, back out, and I realize, oh my God, the GPS will tell me where she's been lately. So hey, everybody listening to this, I don't know how to clear previous places on GPS, but you might want to go do that right now. Push pause and go erase your car's GPS. Because I pushed her previous places and wrote down the addresses.
Oh no.
And the last three places, I think, or three of the four, were See's Candy, pharmacy, and a lawyer. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I would have guessed if you had asked me where would she have been, like his place, a bar,
so now I have his
restaurant.
address.
Wow.
So here's why the divorce papers got signed fairly quickly, because we were, I couldn't handle it. I could not. Please just stop. Just stop. Stop seeing him. I'll do whatever. I'll sign separation papers. I didn't want to do divorce.
Yeah.
Just stop for a minute. And she wouldn't stop seeing him. And now I know where he lives. So, yeah. So,
oh no.
And then I followed her home one day, right? And I swear to God, it was innocent, where she was at a doctor appointment, and it was about 30 miles away, and I was in that town picking up some inventory for our business.
Right.
And remembered, she's got an appointment, saw her car, I'm going to sit here and wait for her to leave. And I I told her this a couple days later. So she leaves, I follow her, and she went home. She picked up my son from school, went home. If she would have went to his house, like she's been doing, it scared the shit out of me. What would I have done?
Right.
I mean, I'm not a violent guy, but it's weird when you're in that place. So once I knew where he lived, I've threatened him a couple times on the phone because I got his number.
Oh, and you called him?
Left messages, you know.
Okay.
And once I knew if she would have went to his house, would we both be in jail, dead? What would have happened?
Right.
Then, so once that happened, she wasn't going to stop seeing him. It was starting to freak out our friends because she was, you know, I told her to please talk to some of your married friends, just confide in somebody. And she told all them that she wasn't seeing him anymore. Then I go over to their house crying in my beer because she's out with him that night. Then her friends get pissed because, what? She just told me she's not seeing him. No, they're out right now. So her whole world exploded around that. But that's when, so I go to pick up my son. I moved 2 blocks over, by the way, in a house she's already looked at. Yeah.
So you moved, okay, so you moved out.
She was going to move. She'd been looking at rentals for her mom. They weren't for her mom. She had a whole all the stuff in place.
Everything was
already talked to a
essentially
lawyer,
allowed.
already found rental. Didn't find it, but had an option of one. So back when I was going, just settle down, let's just figure this out. She wanted to leave. I said, no, you ain't no way I'm coming. I'm not strong enough to come home every night into that house where she's not there with the 2 kids there.
Right.
You guys stay here. I'll move. I rental right in front of my son's bus stop. I bought a house 2 blocks over. It's where I live now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the kids are.
So make it easier.
Kids
on
are 15 and 18.
Right.
Let's just, whatever. I know I'll be can't have the best marriage. It'll be the best divorce. Let's just do this.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was I saying there?
So she had been lying about where she was going to live
so
and what she
I
was
pick up
gonna
my
move.
son to get shoes, and she's getting ready to go out with this guy. And I'm thinking, no. We said, please don't. Stop. She said, well, you said you'd sign the papers. I go, just. So anyway, I didn't want to argue in front of the kids.
Right.
Sent my son in by himself to the store to look at shoes, and I called her and basically begged her, don't go out with him tonight. Don't. If you don't, I'll sign everything tomorrow. Just don't. The ground feels like it's moving. I can't see straight. I know where he lives. Don't go out tonight. And she got so pissed that she couldn't go out with him that night. So, didn't. And next day, I came over and said, listen, this is weird. I'm definitely not going to give you my blessings to go out with this guy, but I'll take the kids tonight, and you do whatever you got to do. I got to see if I can handle it. Mm-hmm. And that was it. Never asked her again where she was, what she was doing. And now they're married.
And now they're married.
Yeah, we go out together.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, no, we went to my son's birthday party last week. I'm very passive aggressive with him.
Are you really? And you knowingly do it?
He's I don't try. I just, certain things I've always said I won't do.
You do.
Now I shake his hand. He treats me really nice. He's really nice to me. And, but so what? So I'm just never gonna. So yeah, I have no problem with them being together now.
But do you? Because if you're passive aggressive with it, maybe there is something there. Like
that's
you're
kind of
trying.
why I like to be that way.
But you're okay. So let me get this right. You're trying not to have a problem with it. You're definitely better than what you were.
I haven't wanted her back for 1 minute.
No,
not even a second.
But does it feel like kind of salt in the wounds when you see them?
I don't know what it feels like. I worry more about my friends don't know how to handle it. I told everybody from day one, just be your friend. Don't judge. It's just whatever. I don't want the drama. And so I gave her, I signed easy. I gave her plenty of money, gave her 2 houses, gave her, and not as nice as that sounds. I had to keep all the business stuff and separate all that. So I got stuff I don't know what they're even worth, and she got paid off houses and cash and all that. So the reason behind that, and the reason I told my friends and everybody, just do whatever you want, but don't be mean to her for me, and don't not live, is because it's kind of a selfish thing for me. I just wanted it all to go away. I don't want this to, it's going to screw up my life for maybe forever, or maybe less than forever, or maybe for a week, but let's just get through that now. If everybody around me is cool, if everybody around me gets back to normal, then I could just
move on.
So
here's a question then. So you guys went through all this. She lied. I mean, this was somebody who's been in your life for 21 plus years because before you even were married. Right. How long were you together before you were married?
A year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a long time,
right.
like, nearly half your life kind of thing. And to have somebody that you have this partnership with and inevitably have all this trust and love and you are completely unsuspecting. I mean, I'm sure, and I know in my experience, fault doesn't go just one way. You look back and we always think, well, if I had done this or if I had done that.
Yeah.
But that aside, to know that somebody that you had these feelings for and spent half your life with almost found somebody else. I mean, that pain, that's a lot of pain.
Yeah. Yeah. The pain was I should have got a talking to. You know what I mean?
Like where's my warning?
I'm a 50-year-old guy, business owner, kids. We had, I swear, all the fun. We traveled around the world almost every year. All the friends, all the toys, all the everything. And it's fun. There's a lot of pressure for me. I'm kind of proud of being that guy that handled all that, but it was that. So I was a typical 50-year-old neglectful husband, I'm sure, in some ways. But our sex life was good till the day found out. We had all the friends. Everything's good. It should have been like she tried to come to me, hey, I'm kind of freaking out about the world. And I went, nah, it's fine. Thinking her birthday's coming. So there was a window there, I think, of a couple months where I could have pulled it together. And I was just
maybe she was
idiot because it's so funny that I was thinking it was something else.
And that very well could be. I know I've been in a situation where if, like in my first marriage, if he had just asked me to stay,
right? If
he had said, will you please stay, let's work this out.
And every day I pretended not to know, man. It was her mind's going, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And funny, she won't mention any names, but she was coming to me about someone we both knew having an affair with someone they went to high school with. And she's talking about herself.
Right. It's kind of like the Bobby Brady. I'm just asking for a friend.
And I'm going, oh God, what an idiot. No, make them stop. That's horrible. Just tell them to knock it off.
Right.
That's those kind of conversations we're having. Looking back, she was reaching out a few different ways.
But not directly.
And I was shutting it down.
Right. Yeah. So I think
in crisis, I'm saying it's fine. She said something like, my world's falling apart. I go, no, everybody else's world's falling apart because of the friend that was having the affair. Her grandfather died. All these other people are having issues.
But what she was really saying is, I'm falling apart.
Yeah.
Help me.
She
and
told
you're
me
like,
that.
no.
I go, and that's my biggest flaw in my personality. For anybody, and her literally over the years would say, I need help with whatever, with fixing the sprinkler, with being OCD about the magazines. And in my mind, you don't need help. It's fine. Come with me. We'll go have fun. And this was one of those things. I'm falling apart. I'm losing it. I go, no. We're going to be fine. Everybody else falling apart. You be the strong one for everybody else. We got it. Look, we got this, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, that was it.
So hindsight, looking back, what would you, if she were to come to you, if you had to relive that time where one of those times where she came to you and said, I'm falling apart, what would your response, how would you have changed your response?
Oh, I wouldn't have. I mean, now I'd say, what can I do to help? I would have said that for 20 years, looking back, which I never did.
But you never did.
I just, I took control of the situation, which is not what someone needs.
Yeah. But it's hard to see that when you're in it. And so now that you're working on moving forward and everything, and you see this woman that you had all this background with somebody else, you're obviously trying to be the better person and be okay with it. But I've
never wanted her back. It was such a affront and such a living a lie, such an injury to me. I said, so that's fine.
But even though you don't want her back, I'm just curious, it's still...
I don't want her to be happy either.
Right, yeah. Right? You're like wishing karma would step in. And
it will. It will.
And
And it has to. And that's, what am I going to do when that happens?
Right.
So.
And Because I think most of us have been in those situations where we feel so hurt, but we're trying to be the better person. We don't want them back, but damn it, why wouldn't crappy just happen to this person already? You know,
I am writing. I'm trying to write my closing joke of my 30-minute set about that, and it's way too much information right now to go down. But basically, going through the thing where when I found out how I didn't kill him, right? That whole story we just said,
right?
And now they are married. We do show up at family functions together, and we get along. He's never said anything bad to me. You know, everybody knows to.
But don't you wish? So you kind of indicated, you gave me that look like, I wish sometimes you would just give me an opportunity.
My joke's going to be, I've seen them together. I've seen, they're happily married. I've seen how they look at each other. And I know things happen a certain way, but I know if him and I don't talk about it, but I think if we did, I think he would tell me if he had to do it all over again, he wishes I would have killed him. Because
that's your joke, or you?
Because he's with her now, so I'll make it more obvious. It was a pretty safe married woman to have an affair with. Ain't no way she's leaving that setup.
Yeah,
she had it all.
Yeah,
and I wasn't supposed to catch him. And which brings me back to how often you think back and what about this time? This year? Oh, now I know what was going on.
Yeah,
remember when this happened? Oh, now I know what that was. So but once I realized I was never going to get the truth out of her, there's so many things I put two and two together now of things that were going on, but you can't ask.
No, you can't ask. You just kind of have to know. No, I get it, because there are things where, I didn't know about, my ex, about what he was doing until someone actually took me aside and said, are you so stupid that you don't see?
I had friends for 6 months telling me, what's going on? She's acting weird. I go, nah.
Yeah, and you're just like, no, what are you talking about? Well, and you make all these excuses because never in your right mind would you think that somebody would do that to you. This person would do that to you.
Yeah.
So now, okay, so it's been a few years, right?
Thanks for my first joke bombing, too, by the way.
It didn't bomb.
The first one I wrote, right when we split, I wrote, just talking, because I like to be stupid and cynical. Talking to a friend, I said, I was 54. I was only going to fuck her another 6 months anyways, probably.
Right, so, yeah, no doubt. We get to a certain age and we're just like, what does it really matter? Yeah, especially if she's in menopause. Yeah. That stuff changes. That's actually a life-changing thing, as I'm finding out. But, it's interesting. So it's been a few years, and you're obviously busy doing stuff, because we were just talking before we started recording.
Well, the only issue now is it always was the kids. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And now they're 22 and 19. They're great. They're doing awesome. And there's no way to tell how much happier they would have been. And this had to be, my kids are they're like me. They're kind of stoic, or they don't talk a whole bunch. But so they handled it great, apparently. But who knows? Right?
Right.
So that's my regret, is wish that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. So. It's not easy. And it's amazing because it's not just the two of you it affects. It affects your kids. Everybody. It affects all of your family. It affects your friends. It affects...
Super Bowl party tomorrow. I'm the non-couple out of all our couple friends. We had a really tight, little tiny town, bunch of really good friends that are all the same, married couple with a couple kids, and we were really tight. So it was really hard on them, because it could have been any one of us. It was me, but I could see if it wasn't me, if it was one of them, how freaky that would have been.
Yeah. So. And so now, do you find yourself, how do you deal with that, being the non-couple at all these events?
Every way you could think. Try to get a date, bring it, don't, or it.
Bring it.
Bring a date, or don't, and one's worse than the other,
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. I didn't mean that, everybody. But, yeah, my friends were great, still are, but never missed a beat. I'm invited everywhere, treat me like always. But certain things, it's not a couple thing anymore. And if you do couple things, what I meant about if you bring a date somewhere, I've been with her 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's different dynamic than everybody else in the room.
And then people are talking about things that have
For
happened
them.
that everybody else knows about, and then it's hard to
Yeah.
include her, and then you have to
Yeah.
explain what they're talking about or inside jokes and
Yeah.
things or why that
I
person.
really do. I'm only one relationship I had that was since then was pretty excited about. It was nice introducing someone new into all that. That was pretty, but when it's not that, like if I brought a date tomorrow to the thing, it would be just a whole different deal. A whole different thing. Do I want to? I'd rather hang out with my friends, or I'd rather be on a date. Which one do I want to do? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, combining the two of them is probably a little bit more challenging, unless
Yeah.
you're doing it with friends that are neutral, that kind of come from knowing just the two of you versus.
Oh no, my friends are all
yeah.
about it. They're all supportive. They want it to happen. I'm right now just one of those things where my plate's clean and you go, I'm just going to breathe. Just stop me.
Yeah. So are you actively looking to date, or you're just you're not
I'm
worried
actively
about
looking not to date, and it's been that way for probably since Saturday.
it? Saturday? When you're
it's
not.
one of those, you keep hitting those points where you go, that's it. I'm done. I'm done. So
Do you realize, so now that you're done and you're trying to focus on yourself, that's when someone's going to walk in?
yeah, this usually lasts a couple days.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean,
Yeah.
that's when
no,
I end
that
up.
scares me to death. No, I've met a lot of the best thing about divorce is you get out of your circle and you meet so many people.
Yeah.
And I'll talk bad about her because I can, but everybody else seems so nice and so honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
So that was
refreshing.
really neat, meeting people. And there's a lot of good things about meeting people. But is it you haven't met the right person, or is it that you're messed up so much from obviously, but you get two people together and there's a whole bunch of reasons it don't work. One is they're perfect for me and and no way do I want a relationship. So I like going out with people that aren't perfect for me. I don't know why. Maybe it's safer.
Could be.
Long distance or to this or to that.
You're protecting yourself a
Yeah,
little
definitely.
bit.
So I've had a couple dates with some girls that were wonderful creatures. Really, really, everything about them's great. And I'm going, oh man, it brings all that. I already did that once. What are you repeating things? Here's worst. As bad as the situation is, you're forced into a new life. Do I want to just cut that short now and get into a relationship where
You're kind of not sure.
when you're
what
married 20 years? You know how many times you think about being single?
A lot.
However many days there are in 20 years,
Yeah.
right? So it comes and it's horrible and you wish you never would have thought that, but here it is. So
Yeah.
what do you do,
So out of all the things that have happened since your divorce, what besides meeting new people, what is, or maybe it is meeting new people, what is the best thing that you've gotten from this?
Right away, when you go through identity crisis, you're just like, your whole world gets crushed. Right away, because who I was, that 50-year-old guy that literally feel like pressure on you, when you're have 50 years of creating the world, around you, that of all that crushing horror, you recognize parts of you that you haven't seen in a while. Like I felt 17 years old right away. It's just like light, like there's no, I like that. Try to hang on to that. And I'm a little too immature now. There's no one, I don't have no supervision. There's no one telling me what to do. But I like that part. The guy that probably she married. You know what I mean?
The guy who has some freedom
Or the nice, yeah, I was a dick at the end, I'm sure. But yeah, it worked. So one of my things was wanting to get back together was to kind of prove that, hey, I could be that old guy. I am here. I feel it. I feel the change. And knowing that if we got back together, I don't know you can Google it, but 10% chance of it working out, 20?
You don't know.
Maybe, but there's also those people say it's stronger than ever. So I have hung on to that feeling like I did when I was young.
kind of
Sometimes I feel like
regaining your old self back, your own
exactly.
identity.
Yeah, the stuff that doesn't go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can see that because with being married with someone for that period of time, not that even both my marriages have added up to even remotely close to 21 years because they didn't, but to think to be with somebody, you get in a routine, you get into a groove with that person and what's comfortable. And I know when I was single, I would probably take more risk. I would do things, I would be more likely to try new things than I would when I'm with somebody.
Yeah.
You know, and it's plus having a family, you're coordinating other people's schedules and, you know, events and life milestones and things like that you don't even think about when you're by yourself.
And I kind of became fearless rather than the other way around, because when you get that hurt, there's nothing going to hurt you right now for this next limited period of time. You can do whatever you want. Nothing's going to matter.
Right.
And doing stand-up is great for that.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
How are you going to hurt my feelings?
You can't.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's good for that.
Cathartic.
It's good for experimenting, doing things. If you give away half your money, who cares if you spend the rest on something stupid? So it's all that stuff where it's selfish and it's about a year ago, I milked it as far as I could, as far as being the, don't want to make decisions and all that. But it really is, there's nothing to lose for a while.
Yeah.
So if you've lost it all, there's nothing left to lose. Right?
That's so true. That's a really good way.
Yeah.
A really good way.
And then you realize, everybody reminds you didn't lose it all. Everything's still great. And, but in your mind.
Yeah. And it's like they say, when one door closes, several more open. And I think they've all been open all along. We just tend to focus on the one that's the biggest part of our life.
Yeah.
And when that's taken away, it's like, well, I guess I have to go through another door. So what was the worst thing? Like, what did you find to be the hardest challenge through this?
Oh my gosh. Just that it keeps going on. That you get better or you change, first of all, you lose that whole identity. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And the part we were talking about was the part of your identity you didn't lose, maybe is who you were all the time, but everything else you thought you were is done. You're not a husband anymore. Still a dad, but they moved out right about when they were moving away from school. So anyway, my big effort for a year and a half straight was just to do everything I could to make everybody cool. Helped her with paperwork, financially, everything, the kids, school, make sure everybody else settles down so I can rush through this thing a little bit. And I thought it'd be done by now. So I will be by April 3rd, 4 years. This will be completely in my past. I will never think about it again.
Or so you say.
My plan was 3 years, and it's not. So this last year was my worst. It was horrible.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? What made last year the worst?
I think realizing it could take a long time. I mean, relationships that are crazy, and you realize, I don't even know how much of that's my fault and how much is the other person. You meet people that also aren't ready for one, and you run in and you try to put that together, and then you do decide. First of all, I've always got everything I've wanted. I'm not saying I expect that, but I haven't had the word no in 4 years, right? Mm-hmm. Of anything. Yeah. And it's really neat. Doing comedy, going racing, traveling, all this, that. But then you decide, well, it's this. It's not me. I just haven't met the right person. So in your mind, you paint that person. You meet that person. They're on board, and I bail so friggin' fast. I want nothing to do with
commitment.
I guess, yeah.
I had a marital counselor. This is after, I think, my first divorce. I can't remember. It's all blending together. It's so long ago, too. But at one point, she said to me, I said, how long will I feel this way? How long will it take? And she's like, well, everybody's different. And I wasn't married that long, because either time it was only roughly 2 years, give or take. And what she said to me is typically the first year is feeling the hurt and the immediate pain and getting through each day. Right. And the second year is recognizing this is my first Christmas or my holiday or this day or memories of events and going through them without that person. And then the next year, it's learning how to be okay with yourself and looking forward and starting. And before you can really get into another relationship where you're ready and healed, to get into another
Yeah.
thing. And she goes, and usually that's kind of the way, because you have to go through all of your new first again.
Yeah.
You know, new first without this person, and then you go with another year with new first as you.
Yeah.
And then it continues.
And I noticed yesterday, we were together so long, everything you've done with them.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I remember looking at that sink right there.
You don't have all the first, yeah.
One thing my dad died at the end of 2008, but it was like 12 years after my mom died. She had an aneurysm and died. And he was lonely, sad the whole time.
Yeah.
So I thought of this the other day, watching him do that. My brother and I, our family's real close. So we took care of my mom before she died, and we were in business with my dad. And so talked to him every day, and we took care of him when he was on the way out. But seeing him go through that thing, two things, I recognized a lot of that in myself, but I also remember thinking to him, no, don't do this. So it's a motivation for me not to dwell. But the stuff that he would say, like everywhere he goes, everywhere he looks, he had history with her.
Yeah.
So, but that's the hard part about living in the same town still. But I recommend, you lived with your ex-boyfriend for a while.
Yeah.
I recommend staying close because I didn't romanticize it once. I'd run into her twice a week and not want to be around her. And that was, if you would have split and moved, oh my God, to this day, I'd be romanticizing that whole thing.
Yes.
But being in contact because of the kids, because of financial stuff, it's, I don't know if she's texted me today yet or not, but we got stuff going on. That's fine. All that's fine.
Yeah, it does. I think you're right. And
it's almost like I retired from it. Like we were married, now I'm retired from it, but it's still there. So not having us a couple blocks away, yeah, there was anger, there's hurt, there's pain, but it's also reality.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, every time I see you now, maybe you were right. I had to tell her one day, she was right. She said, we're not a good match. I go, yeah, okay, I'll admit it. So I'm glad it wasn't those, hey, I'm out of here, never see her again. Oh my God.
Because then you always will have this image in your mind of all this fantasy that it was, and it wasn't. And I've learned that by staying out west. And staying in the same area and everything, it's actually been very good because I've gone to each of these places or done these things now, and made completely new memories of them.
We have a condo in Newport together. That's mine now. One of the place at the river. First thing I did was take other people there
and make new
memories there.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
And kind of like renew everything, renew the energy.
And she's been nice to me ever since. So. I mean, everybody around me is good. I'm just going, that's okay. I don't care. I'm not going to be nice back.
And that's okay. It'll happen in its own time if it needs to.
Yeah.
But you're taking care. It sounds like you're taking care of yourself. You've been really busy doing your stand-up, your racing.
Yeah, now I got to segue from, so now I got my divorce jokes, my dating jokes. Now I got to move on to the getting old jokes, I guess. But I haven't done anything about my kids. I have 2 kids, both in college. Plenty of material there.
Absolutely.
I haven't written anything about that.
But you know what's interesting is I find, and it sounds like hearing what you're writing about, is we find our humor from the most painful things versus the things that don't. And a lot of comics say the opposite. Like, this is too painful. I can't even talk about it.
Right.
I find the more painful it is, the more I need to desensitize it by making it fun.
Yeah.
And take that pain away and making it something I can talk about and I'm not ashamed of and I don't feel bad about
and I'm just now getting to the point where I take some out of the set. I'm just now getting to the point where I care that other people don't like hearing it sometimes, her friends and all that.
Right.
You know what? I'm doing this.
Yeah. My stuff is all about past relationships and stuff.
My kids have been front row to hear this stuff. I do their mom jokes on their mom. And they're front row, and I do it right at them. So it informs my writing a little bit, because, the truth is the truth, and there wasn't anything there. There's nothing there we can't talk about. There's nothing they don't know.
Right. And if you're doing it in the comedic sense, it's not necessarily a hurtful thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't try and come from it that way. Obviously, we love the people we were married to, so it's not that.
Plus, they see us, still not taking care of each other, but
you're making things work.
Splitting tuitions and all that. We're always in contact. And kids' birthdays. And,
making the best you can today. And it will continue to get better, I'm sure.
oh, yeah.
So, well, is there anything that you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Oh, God, just do this over. This is a whiny podcast.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't whiny. You're sharing your experience. And I mean, if I had asked you maybe about motorcycle racing, this would have been, of course, a different vibe to the whole
Yes,
thing.
I don't write about that either. I need to write about more parts of my life.
The fact that you're in this old-timer racing thing.
What would I say? No, the biggest thing was it changes your view on everything. Much more empathetic for people that have gone through things. Divorce is nothing compared to what a lot of people have been through.
Right.
And new perspective on everything. When not only seeing people and being more empathetic to their issues, you don't act like you think you're going to act when when something happens.
It's easy to
I would do this, I would do that, and that's a big thing with some of our friends and stuff. If that happened to me, I thought that too, and that's not what happens.
It's completely different when it's happening to you and you're in the middle of a shitstorm.
This joke's not funny either. But I've been trying to.
You're the one I was like, kill him.
But the difference between the best. There's one man out there though somewhere to laugh at this. The best wife in the world and the worst wife in the world. It's all in just, I guess, presentation. Because like the worst wife in the world comes home, says, "Hey, we're through. I'm sleeping with somebody else." Right. Mm-hmm. Best wife in the world says, "Honey, what if we started having sex with other people?"
Yeah.
Right? It's the same outcome.
It's all in how you say it.
That would be and the poor thing didn't know I didn't know that was an option. That's what I'm mad at.
Right? You're like,
if you're going to start screwing someone, tell your husband. He'll be okay with it maybe.
It's all in the delivery, right?
At least let him know that he's allowed to.
There you go. Yeah, if it's going to be an open marriage, you may as well let him enjoy it too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I think that's really good advice.
Yeah.
Be open and honest.
Yeah.
Right from the beginning. So, well, thanks so much for coming all the way out here and spending the afternoon with me. And thanks again for the awesome T-shirts and the cards and everything. I will make sure to post this because these are pretty
Leanne.
cool.
Yeah.
And keep in touch and good luck.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.